Mic Drop Moments is sponsored by Grow Radio. Want to launch your own podcast? Grow Radio are here to help. Grow Radio has launched and supported countless podcasts, and they'd love to do the same for you. Just hit record and they'll handle the rest. No editing stress, no technical faff, just a great podcast released when you want. Need a little extra support? Grow Radio's workshops and courses make getting started easy. Let's bring your podcast to life. Message Grow Radio on social media or reach out to Gary Jones, the founder of Grow Radio. Let's make this happen. So welcome to Mic Drop Moments, and this week I'm chatting with Sophie Foote. Welcome, Sophie. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then we're going to dig into your story and what you do now.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Okay, I'm a scuba diving instructor slash adventurer who basically spent my 20s working my way through Southeast Asia as a diving instructor. Eventually bought a beach in Indonesia to build my own scuba diving resort, which was my first business. Sold that, started a property business in the UK, and I've just sold that.
Wow. So let's go back. You just strolled along a beach one day and thought, I'm going to buy this, or was it a bit more calculated than that?
A little bit more calculated. I'd gone on a gap year when I was 18 because I thought I want to see the world. So I got a teaching English job in Malaysia for 3 months. While I was out there, discovered how incredible the diving was and completely fell in love with it, and fell in love with a guy at the same time. And ended up staying out there for a year and becoming a scuba diving instructor, basically. And then when I went to uni, I had 3 months off every summer. So I got a job in Thailand, then I got a job in Vietnam, then I got a job in Fiji, and I was absolutely hooked. And then when I graduated with my master's, I thought, still not ready to live in England. I need a business because as an instructor, you earn a little bit of money, you can have a lot of fun, but you come home with nothing. So I thought, I need to build a business. So I went on divecenterforsale.com, and there's dive centers for sale around the world. And I knew that Indonesia is amazing for diving. It's one of the best places in the world. There's high demand. That was my market research, basically, knowing that people would go there. And so we went to visit and just fell in love with the place and built our business there.
Fantastic. And you obviously, the time to sell that, was that when you had a family and things like that, or was it the market was changing?
Well, we sold it at just the right time because we had done 5 years there. So we'd taken it from basically two beaches and a mangrove and a load of mango trees to a small resort with 8 cottages on the beach, 11 Indonesian staff, two boats. We were completely off grid, so we were self-sustaining everything. And we'd kind of systemized it and just built this business that worked without us. So our kids were born out there, which is another story, trying to get to the hospital in the middle of the night from a remote beach, but we made it. And we started to think about their education, and thinking we'd be rubbish at homeschooling them. The nearest school is half an hour away on a remote island with kind of part-time Indonesian teaching. So we should, let them have their schooling in the UK. So we sold it to a Belgian couple, and we sold it in 2018. So they had 2 really good years, and then the flights stopped, the tourists stopped, and they had a bit of a terrible 2 or 3 years after that. So it was quite lucky timing for us.
Yeah. And then you went into property
Yeah.
and built a business with that. Was that again with your husband? Did you do that together?
Yeah, so when the pandemic happened, I just thought, okay, well, we will homeschool the kids because we have to. He got a job for the ambulance service in the operations centre, so he was sending ambulances out to jobs. And I found a sales and marketing job and thought, I'll be good at this. Turned out to be the worst boss ever. Sexist, racist, chauvinist, just blah. And I think also when you run your own business, you're not very employable again because you've got all these ideas and you love the flexibility. And so I thought, I've got to get rid of him. And I was looking at different business models, and this property management business model was highly scalable because you can just add on more and more properties, build your team, build the profit, build the revenue. So I just went all in on that, and that's the business that I've just sold.
Wow. So you've gone into these businesses, you've built them up, and
Yeah,
you recognise the point at which to sell. Now, I love what you're doing now, and you call yourself the happy investor because
yeah,
your belief now is not just to put all your eggs in one basket, to build multiple income streams. I
yeah.
suppose it's back to the rich dad, poor dad
Mhm.
philosophy. You have your pots. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I need to write the new book. I think Rich Dad Poor Dad is done
It's a
now.
bit
I'm going
old
to write
now,
the
isn't
new
it? It's a
book.
bit old, yeah.
Yeah. I think through being in the world of property, you learn different strategies like Airbnbs, like house shares, like commercial properties. And so you start learning different investment strategies. And one of them was learning how the stock market works and how to invest in index funds. And I just thought, God, my mum, she never had these opportunities. My grandmother, absolutely not. If they wanted to invest, they'd have to go to a stockbroker, sign some documents. It would probably take a few days or weeks. They wouldn't really be knowing what they're doing. But now we've all got apps on our phones where you can open an investment account, put £1 in, and it will start building compound interest. And it's like a new wave of opportunity. And I think as women, we really need to be getting behind it because we make better investors. We put money back into our communities. We do better things with the money. So I'm now just on a mission to get everyone investing, get more money in women, in female businesses.
And it's a strange thing because we're never taught this. We're not taught it at school. We're not taught it
Mm.
later on in life. If our mothers have never done it, it's not handed down to us. And as you say, my parents were probably cautious. They believed that you had to put everything into property, which I still think is a great investment. But there was, your property, your pension, and that was probably it. And maybe some savings in an
Mhm.
ISA. But there's
Yeah.
so much more than that, isn't there?
Yeah, I was talking to a community earlier about multiple streams of income, and I brought a screenshot up and went, you can choose now. So you can have your main income, you can then turn that into consulting, you can turn it into a digital product, an ebook, you can invest in index funds, bonds, crypto, gold, whiskey, artwork, choose what interests you, and you can suddenly find all these streams of income, which would give you financial peace, financial stability. Because if your one income stream gets cut due to illness or redundancy or a pandemic, having others to rely on is really, really good.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about whiskey. I do know someone that buys rare bottles of whiskey, and that's their pension pot.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
it just acquires. I was bought some wine as a leaving gift,
yeah,
and 6 bottles of nice wine was what I thought. And I went to open one. I thought, I'm going to Google this.
yeah.
And when I Googled it, I found it was limited edition wine and it got bond numbers attached to it. And apparently,
Oh,
this wine improves with age and it becomes rarer because people drink them, not
yeah,
knowing that they're rare.
yeah.
So it's one of a number of
Mm.
only a small pot. So I've now got a box of 6 wines that I daren't drink because I know
Yeah,
I'm going to make money.
yeah,
I mean, even now they range from something like, I don't know, 200 quid up to maybe 400 or 500 quid a bottle. In 10 years' time, who knows what that might be worth? And I think
yeah.
you don't think about these things, the same with gold. People very quickly sell their gold, but actually, it's another thing that increases in value over time, like property, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're right, we're just not taught about it. But
Yeah.
now, if you want to learn, there's so much information out there. There's YouTube, there's podcasts, there's, people just talking about it on podcasts like these. So
Yes.
yeah, it's easy
And
than ever.
you're talking about it a
Yeah.
lot, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think as women, we're more cautious, we're
Mm.
more risk averse, we're more, oh, not sure. I'm a big believer you can't be what you can't see. If you can't
Yeah.
see somebody that looks and sounds like you doing something, then
Yeah.
actually you think maybe that's not for me. So by spreading the word, do you feel that you're actually helping women to think, oh, well, actually, she's explained it so simply, I can do it
Yes.
too?
Yeah, definitely. I think we can achieve anything. If someone's done it before us, we can do it too. And it sometimes is about taking that leap and taking about that risk and having a bit of confidence. And we can do hard things. Think about everything you've ever done, all the obstacles you've gone past. You're here now, you're still standing. And with investing, you can start with a tenner, you don't have to put your life savings into it. But once you start seeing what can happen so simply and so easily, then you're in it and you get hooked.
Yeah. So just explain for the listeners what compound interest is, because some people might not understand that concept.
Yeah, so compound interest is basically you stick your money somewhere, it grows with interest, and then that interest is added straight back into the pot to gain more interest. So it's like a snowball effect for your money. So instead of just putting some money in a savings account, maybe making 1% or 2% a year if you're lucky, you could make 10 or 20% in the stock market. And that all gets added back in, snowball effect, and compounds to get bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, and as you say, you can start it with as little as £10 and then, keep topping that up, but the interest is going to earn interest on itself, isn't it,
Mm,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. Great idea. And as I say, most people, not everybody now, but most people have put their money into property historically, bought a house, and then at some point or another, they buy a bigger house. And then when they get to
Mm.
a certain age, they downsize and then release that cash.
Mhm.
Would you say that's a good time for them to think, well, actually, I ought to invest that because I can still have that money working for me, or just go and blow it on a dive holiday?
I mean, it depends on where you are in your life, what you want to do. Do you want to pass your money down to younger generations? Do you want to spend it? Do you want to donate it? Do you want to invest it? And what is really important is thinking about your risk profile. Because I was doing a presentation earlier to a community actually and saying, if you've got 10 grand to invest when you're 20, you're going to invest it very differently to if you're 50 because you're reaching retirement age, hopefully much sooner. So the 50-year-old will want a nice low risk investment that increases a bit and they can get it when they're 60 or 51, whatever time you want to retire. Whereas the 20-year-old has got time for that investment to go high risk and be like, it's going up, it's going down, it's all over the place. It can move. And then they can balance that portfolio out to a lower risk as they reach that retirement age where they want to access it.
It's
So that's really important.
interesting you talk about retirement because I don't believe in retirement anymore. I think we just evolve, and I
Yeah.
talk a lot about ikigai and living your purpose. And if you wake up and you're living your purpose every day and you can be paid for it, why wouldn't you? And you
Yeah.
talk, about digital products and things like that. But actually, our wants and needs change as we get
Mm.
older. So, you're releasing cash, you can do other things, you can do
Yeah.
more things. But people of the future aren't going to be able to rely on a state pension. It's
No.
it's a disappearing pot.
Yeah.
And, traditional pensions probably won't cover the standard of life that we've all got used to and our holidays and things. So I've looked at it sort of differently to that. And I'm sort of thinking, well, I still want to earn money, but actually I want that money to work for me as well. I'll still have my money in property, but maybe I don't need the great big house anymore because I
Mm.
can release some of that and buy a property abroad and
Yeah.
do those sorts of things. So I think we're slightly different probably to our parents' generation, and I think the future generation will be different again because a lot of those aren't even on the property ladder because they can't afford to be.
Yeah. Pensions are a scary thing. And I think you've got to build it yourself now. You've got to have investments so that by the time, you want to access money, you can have a fund that is just paying you enough on compound interest every year.
Yeah, yeah. I used to have a few little pensions, and one was my bottle of wine pension, one was my curry a week pension, one was,
Yeah.
and I got caught. I got caught by the Equitable Life collapse.
Mm.
So, lost a lot of money on my pension earlier on. Obviously, I've had time to recoup that, but you never know what's going to happen. You never know what the next thing's going to
Mm.
be. Are you educating your children now on
Do
this
you
type?
know what? Yes, yes, definitely. So I do everything I do, I show them. I show them my trading, I show them my investments. I was at an event for the last 2 days and I was exhibiting. So I've come home with like the banner and the posters and stuff. And my son came into me at breakfast today and he went, Mummy, and he was showing me this leaflet that I'd created. He went, Did you make 1.5 million last year? And I went, Yeah. And he went, what? He was like, where is it? Where's all the
Yeah.
cash? I said, do you know what turnover means? And he went, no. And so I was talking him through, yes, we hit 1.5 million turnover last year. That doesn't mean I made 1.5 million. So let's talk about costs. Let's talk about profit, net profit. And he said, I think I'd like to start a business. And he's 10.
Yeah.
So
Isn't it
yeah, I
interesting?
think, and it's
Yeah.
easier now for young kids to get on YouTube or like my kids don't have phones. I'm going to try and keep them off it for as long as possible. But I see, they could do lemonade, they could do car washing. I told him the other day that me and my brother used to make £5 per car washing a car when we were kids. And he
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I think I could get £10."
And it's interesting because my parents, when I was little, I remember it was pretty awful, really, when I think about it. I remember getting all my mum's egg cups out with my friend. We
Yeah.
went to the shop and bought sherbet pips.
Yeah.
We split them between the egg cups. We stole Ribena and we sold it to all the other kids, made enough
Amazing.
money and went to bought more sherbet pips and chocolate then.
Yes.
Probably ate a lot then at that point, but it was quite entrepreneurial when we think about it,
Yeah.
and we charged them to come and sit on my friend's dad's boat. And if they wanted to eat in, they paid more than if they took it away, but they had to bring the egg cup back. And it was all these little things. But we were berated for doing that. When our parents found out,
Mm.
rather than saying, well, that was a bit clever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely, we were barred from ever doing it like that again. But I think we were squashed back in the day, whereas now with children that you don't have to go the university route. There are other options out there, which I think the schools may be missing a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think uni is so expensive now
yeah.
that actually, if you're not going to study something like a profession, then I don't really know if it's worth it.
And the sort of the way the student loans are worked now, that if people actually get better jobs, they actually get penalised because of the
Mm,
student loan system
mm,
and the payback. So they're
mm,
sort of holding themselves back, and it,
mm,
it it shouldn't work like that. When you were saying about investing in different things, I quite like to pay it forward as well. And I started investing in micro businesses abroad,
mm,
in the sort of countries, the developing countries. And I don't know whether you've heard of Len with Care, but basically you see the projects that they want to do. So they might want to
mm,
buy rice to grow crops to sell to the local villages and things like
mm.
that. You invest in, and they pay you back
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
pay you back something like £1 something a month, and you see it come back, and then you reinvest it in another company. And I love watching that because I
yeah,
think we're teaching entrepreneurship to countries that maybe not have the education, but they're
yeah,
actually building their own little businesses, their own little ecosystems.
yeah,
And I've been doing that a couple of years, and I just love to watch it, and I love to see the
yeah.
little payments coming back in, and then when I get my thing, I send it out to another company.
Yeah, this is the ripple effect
Yeah,
that we as women, when we make money, we want to help other women. So
yeah,
you'll see that we do invest in things that have impact.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
What's on the horizon then? So you've sold your property business, you've
Yeah.
called yourself the happy investor.
Yeah.
So what does the business look like going forward?
Well, um, I've got my event coming up, which is Business by the Beach in July, which
I'm,
I've
I'm
I've
looking
just
forward to
run. I've
it.
just run for the last couple of years. I called it Networking by the Beach because I thought I live in such a beautiful place. Other people must like the beach too. So I've run it for the last couple of years. 20 or 30 people came along. We've had a walk on the beach, bit of masterminding, bit of masterclasses from me. And last year I took everyone on a speedboat. So this year I thought I'm going to go a bit bigger. So I've got this beautiful hotel in Bournemouth. We might be 50 or 60 people, which would be great. I've got some speakers. We're still going to go to the beach. And I just got really excited by it. And then I was thinking, okay, I can teach people about multiple streams of income. So I can teach people how to maximize your income right now, how to maximize your profits in your business. Because I met so many people at this business event yesterday and I was just like, you should be doing this. You should, I could just see, once you've had that experience and
Yeah.
you've done it a few times, you're like, just do this. So I can do that. I can teach people investing. I can teach people how to do consulting and digital products. So I've got ideas in my mind for sort of mini programs on these things.
Mm.
But something really hit me on the train coming back from Leeds. And I launched something yesterday, and I've had 3 people sign up to it already. And it's called The Adventurepreneurs.
Oh, I love it. I did
And
see the email land in my inbox.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, do you know what? I'm going to create a community called The Adventurepreneurs. It's for adventurous people to, 30, 35 quid a month Facebook group. We're going to support each other, and they will be the first ones to be invited to my events, and they'll get the discounts. And we're going to do speedboat trips. We're going to do forest bathing, hiking. We might go to Egypt, but we're going to do adventurous things together because I think the world of online business is so noisy, it's so messy, it can be so confusing. AI is everywhere now. People don't know who to trust. And the girls I saw in the room yesterday, And the ones that I'm best friends with in business, and we all give business to each other and refer the hell out of each other, are the people you see at events and you spend time with and you get to know them and you can laugh and cry together. So I think the world is going more in person, more sort of smaller events. And I think people will be choosing the places that they fit with and they resonate with.
It's
I'm really
interesting.
excited.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because we met really face to face. We were in a group that was online, but we actually connected when we met face to face. And I think those touch points are actually really important because I don't think historically you built relationships by being in rooms and having
Mm,
conversations. And we've shortcutted everything by going totally online. I mean, we're
mm,
talking one to one now to an audience, but when you've got large groups, and I run online stuff, don't get me wrong, and I still will run my online stuff, but when I got them in the room last week, it was just magical to have that in-person time. And the reason I booked your by the beach event, as soon as you said beach, Bournemouth, that brought back all my childhood holiday memories. You know, all those happy memories of Bournemouth just came back. So I thought, yeah, I want to be there. Nothing goes on at the end of July either.
yeah.
There's nothing else happening, so why wouldn't I? Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be a really fun event. And I think, you have your event which attracts a certain amount of amazing person. Matt had his event, which was all like really exciting small business owners. People will resonate with the events they want to go to. And I think we all need to do a lot more of that going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely an in-person event person when I can be. Well, it's been great chatting to you. As always, I ask my guests to leave the audience with their mic drop moment, which is a piece of advice, piece of wisdom, top tip. What would yours be?
Top tip is take the leap. Whatever you're thinking about doing, whether it's starting a business or putting an offer out, just do it because there are people out there that you can help and have a huge impact on. Even if it's one person, just do it. Just take the leap, make the move. There's too many people not doing anything.
And it's interesting you said that actually. I'll just finish with this because you said yesterday you were traveling back and you thought of something and you've just done it. You've literally just put it out there. It doesn't, sometimes we overthink things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely note to finish on. Thank you to Sophie Foote for being on Mic Drop Moments this week.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.